twice as hard for something you already got. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Friends are coming through the door. Wheels are spinning on the floor. We don't know what we don't know. That's the only way to grow. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. What you're looking for is in your hand, been there all along. Pour another cup and pull a chair. Sing along. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Hey! Hey!
Good morning, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another Orange Morning. It is June 1st, 2026, here with Oaks and Rylee. Thank you so much for joining me today while Casey is on a much-deserved vacation. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Glad to be here.
Doing great. Can't believe it is June.
Yeah, despite the fact that it's June already.
Yeah.
You're just getting back from a little time off yourself, Oaks?
Yes, 25th anniversary trip.
Oh, wow.
Very
Congratulations, sir. Where did
Thank
we
you.
go?
We ended up juggling the plans a little bit. My wife's sabbatical got rearranged, and so we did instead of a big blowout trip, it wasn't, not that it was a small trip, but we did a week in Victoria, British Columbia, which was beautiful.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Glad it worked out for you.
Yes, the Orca did not capsize our boat, so made it back safe. I wish they would have attempted and failed. That would make a great story.
Right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm not sure if I gonna put myself in places where boats might be getting capsized by large creatures. That's why we're safe here online right now. Good morning, Amal. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And before we get into some updates, a lot going on this week. Maybe a little more than most weeks. I'm going to share my screen here. It is World Learning Week this week from the HubSpot Academy. A little bit of an update from World Certification Week. Any thoughts on the name change there, fellas?
Well, it does explain why I've been getting your certifications are about to expire emails. Oh, right. That's why they're all coming due at the same time. I mean, it's a nice, more kind of expansive name. I have not dove in to see if there are, if the intent is to invest a lot in non-certification content and learning opportunities.
I would have to imagine so. If just looking at it on its face, I mean, by the time you codify knowledge into a formal certification, the knowledge is likely outdated. So
Yeah.
either because product updates or because of AI usage updates or whatever.
Or
So
it's AI certifications,
right, exactly.
which those of
Yeah.
us who are going through the Anthropic certification process know, like, boy, this course is super in depth, really informative, and like a year out of date.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And how can I use AI to help me get through the course?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the move. I think next year it might be something like World Building Week, because that's how you learn right now, in my opinion. But a step in the right direction. Let's focus on the kind of the piece of paper or the digital PDF, and more focus on learning.
Yeah.
I like that. Later today, got Max and Kyle doing their Monday morning briefing. Always a good time with them. Usually catching up from like 4 or 5 pages of updates. And then Kyle mentioned there's a group demo this week, from pipeline to predictable revenue with fewer tools, on June 4th. So that might be interesting for some of you folks to check out. Say how I feel about the word predictable, and we'll just go into dates. We've got a few since Friday, including, I guess it's a prerequisite for any show that Joshua Oakes is going to be a part of, that there's going to be some meeting update, or they're going to adjust it
Specifically
to
the
make
recurring meetings.
top
Yeah.
of the list.
Yep.
Sync recurring meetings to HubSpot. I'll just do what it is with you fellas, and then we'll dig into what we think about it. What's changed? Added clarification that only recurring meetings created after joining the beta will sync automatically. Introduced instructions for manually resyncing pre-existing recurring events by editing them in your calendar. To take that further, this only needs to be done once for each recurring series. After HubSpot is notified of the event through this manual edit, we will automatically sync future instances of this recurring series into HubSpot for you. Have you been dealing with this at all, folks?
Using the recurring meetings sync, yes. The backfill, no. I'm sure there are people for whom those use cases would be super helpful. It really only makes sense to me anyway if you have data that needs to be on those records that you are also backfilling, and that is given meetings infrastructure and the nightmare of recurring meetings generally, not just in HubSpot. I mean, in calendars, like I'm going to go edit all of these events in the past to get them to sync, and also update everyone's calendar who they are on with the changes. Just seems like, I think that's probably a solving forward for when it exits beta kind of thing, or maybe a couple of use cases, but that just sounds like pain going down that path.
I've had one instance where there was the CX team had quarterly scheduled meetings with their existing customers, and we turned this feature on and it didn't see those recurring meetings, so we had to go in and do the edit, and then it would see the meetings. That's the only time I didn't see, there was no go backfill notes for data or anything, but just to get things to appear, they just had to go do an arbitrary change one letter in the description and then hit update all, and it was there.
Yep.
This screenshot, I'm gonna take a moment to just get some help from some experts here. Naming conventions for meetings. Are we internally, the user internally, what they're going to see on the calendar? Are we trying to support that? Are we trying to support our customers? Are we just fitting everybody in and trying to name it so that we can see any and everybody involved? Like, help me out there.
Meeting naming conventions are even worse than list and segment naming conventions when it comes to compliance. If there is a meeting that that needs regular or needs adherence to a naming convention, I try to steer them through meeting links so that we can actually control that. It's just, who knows what any users are going to type from the admin perspective. For mine, I always create the meetings with the meeting names, envisioning what it will look like on the invitee's calendar. So the contrast there is like I get invites that say Oaks or Josh and other participant : meeting topic, right? Or company or something like that. And so when I look at the calendar on my phone, it says Oaks. And I'm like, well, who's that with?
Right. I have a meeting with me.
Yeah.
Cool. So when I create them, I put my name first. So if that's the convention and it's not a formalized meeting type, but so that when the recipient or the attendee looks at it, they have, even in a truncated view of the calendar, some clue whatsoever about who it's with.
Yeah.
I always, I don't know if this says too much about me. For call records and meeting records, I have workflows that run after the time of the meeting that just renames them to be the most useful naming convention. So whatever you want to name them, that's fine, but I will rename them for my purposes once the meeting is either completed or not attended. Same with call records. Like if there's a bunch of outbound calls, it's like if you have Nooks is like a power dialer or parallel dialer, all the calls come over called like Nooks with an internal Nooks ID that's like a Unix timestamp, like super useless. And so I'll just rename them and then put in associated contact name, associated contact last name, company name, rep name, and then just everything gets cleaned up eventually. But I always wait till afterwards just in case they can see it on their calendar before or something like that.
So you don't like use AI to generate like a snarky commentary on the meeting and put that as the meeting title, or like an emoji?
But I do use AI to generate like a snarky. If there's a call that like books a demo, I get AI to generate a snarky review of the call and post it to Slack.
Oh man, I like both of those things, and that's kind of what I was getting at. The challenge of where it should be named, and how it should be named. Not as challenging as it used to be because we can do so much to transform names on the way to wherever they're going. And this allows me to plug what I did on Friday, which was unboxing the centralized HubSpot data model management space, which is amazing. Everybody needs to try and get in that demo or in that beta. But that's how, like, that enables a lot of the transformation management because you get to use variables related to, other records that are included in the workflow. So I think that's
they're letting all records be, adult record, like actual records that exist the way that HubSpot intended. A lot more general functionality, like across the entire system.
Yeah. And also this gives me another notch in the belt, Oaks, for using appointments when needed for represent meetings. Moving on, this one's kind of a big deal. Price books are in private beta. Price books are now available giving RevOps teams a centralized way to define, manage, and apply product pricing across deals and quotes. This first release focuses on enabling structured pricing setup and basic end-to-end usage within deals and quotes. And shout out to the Commerce Hub team. They almost always have a video to go along with their updates. But yeah, a lot of people have been waiting a while for this one. Are you two either of those included in that group of people?
Presently, I am not.
Yeah, same. I am working on way more upstream stuff mostly. But there are a few portals where we're like, I'm moving towards this direction of like, when a deal is, the kind of final moment of prospect becoming customer. Because it's just a deep, heavy, like you can just get bogged down in all kinds of areas there. And this is a huge, to me, add-on for the people that it's a benefit for. But for most of the people that I'm working with, it's not the most bang for your buck optimization right now, where we're still trying to like have digitally executable agreements that HubSpot's aware of. So I'll probably find a way to add some of this in a little later in some things, but for right now, it's a little more ahead of the curve of where most of my portals are.
It's also a very like enterprise, not the hub tier, but it's a very enterprise feature, like targeting companies that have market or geo level variations in pricing and things is like where that really shines. So it's tends to be larger companies overall, but coming out of the manufacturing space, I'm sure, Chris, like there's a huge application for price books there.
Yeah. But are most of them where Rylee just described, as far as other parts need to happen first, instead of just ramming the price book spreadsheet that inevitably exists somewhere into HubSpot?
I do think it helps people with saying, look, let's move to HubSpot because this exists there. Like where for the portals or people or companies that were like hesitant to fully adopt HubSpot as like the central, system of record. The more they add into this that shows, but it can replicate this for you natively. I think it makes it much more attractive for people to move.
I'm just going to ask Breeze real quick what it thinks about this update. While it does that, we've got more help desk stuff, handoff summaries. It's always nice when I could just easily point to some recent content related specifically to the HubSpot update. Hawkins and I did a specific handoff session of the value path where we talked about all the struggles that I'm sure some of which this private beta is trying to address. What is it? When a conversation moves from a customer agent to a human rep, getting up to speed shouldn't mean scrolling through the entire thread. Handoff summaries are automated recaps of the conversation that appear instantly when customer agent reassigns a ticket to a human. Handoff summaries are published as notes in the conversation timeline and contain a sharp headline summarizing the customer's core issue, a brief handoff reason explaining what triggered the handoff to occur, a concise conversion recap, conversation recap, including what the customer asked plus what customer agent already tried, clear unresolved issues so reps know exactly where to pick up, and customer shared resources like links, files, and attachments. Oh man.
Yeah.
Imagine if our humans handed off like this. That would be cool. Anybody using customer agent in your circles?
I have someone just beginning to. A lot of my things are not super SaaS forward oriented with a bunch of like help chat interfaces or customer agents, but they did that release, the Spring Spotlight, and they kind of changed up some of the thing, and they were pushing customer agent hard, and so we tried it in one portal, and it's kind of, I can see the benefit of it, but to me, is as with all AI, it's only ever useful if you have your ducks in a row very well. Like if you have very clear knowledge base articles for it to be trained on and a clear understanding of context to feed it. And most people, either you're already very well organized like that, in which case you almost always use some different thing from this, like an intercom or something, or you aren't organized like this, in which case if you just turn this on, your customer agent would be trying to solve for pi, like having no real clue what it's trying to solve for when interacted with. So I always felt like customer agent was this amazing cherry on top that you get to once you've gotten a lot of your organization structure and context and knowledge-based stuff documented.
Yeah, I don't have anybody using customer agent. I'm also piloting at the beginning of piloting a solution. The use case, the need sits kind of right between customer agent and prospecting agent. And so kind of evaluating which of them is malleable enough to meet the need. But yeah, I like this update, having worked a lot of workflows in businesses going back my entire career where there is some form of handoff, whether it's in the support context or in the like service and fulfillment context. Super useful, a fantastic application of AI of taking a recap like this and making it immediately actionable for a human who's diving in. Whenever I see something like this, my question is always like, okay, but is it customizable to call out things like a specific troubleshooting or escalation process that the agent is instructed to follow, so that it, like if you have something like that, I want the punch list that shows we did, there's 7 steps and we got to 5, and that's where the agent pulled the ripcord. And so we know like what was not attempted, which is just as important as what was attempted. Yeah. That's, that's a like future, I don't know that this is on the roadmap, but you have to get this right before you can build in some of those additional things.
Agreed.
But I'd love to see that kind of control.
Yeah, it's curious to know like how many reps, how many cycles of these 2 bullets need to happen before we like fully trust it. Because again, like if the humans weren't good at it, who's teaching the AI how to be good at it, and do they have the resources they need to take this? Luckily, HubSpot is making it easier and easier to set up customer agent. George was telling me last week that he was using Breeze Assistant to do that in one of the portals he was working in. So,
yeah, I will say it's so. Previously, I've seen it where like the first thing you're trying to do is ingest knowledge into it, and then it would just do it and take all of the knowledge, even if there was 8 versions of the same document over the last 4 years that all were live and approved. It would just do that. Now it will assess and be like, oh, there's conflicting versions of this information. Which one should I designate as the truth? So it has this kind of awareness of conflicting information now, which makes it a lot easier to configure.
Yep. Funny how that works, right alongside the LLM models that are doing that more and more.
Yeah.
So
I will say too, something that I'm really interested in is this. I feel like there almost needs to be a standard for handoff summaries that is applied to everywhere that you need them, so that it all has the same structure. And so because there's handoff summaries that I get from LLMs, there's handoff summaries I get from other human beings, there's handoff summaries that we're creating to, like, if a BDR books a meeting with an AE, there's a handoff summary there, and like AI can help populate it, but if they would all be able to follow the same general template so that everyone always knows, like, header, executive summary, whatever, I think that would be super useful if there was some native way of like turning that on. But I know we're in infancy.
I think this might be one of those ways
Yeah.
where you can control it. Structured knowledge for knowledge vaults. Knowledge vaults now support uploading and querying structured data files such as Excel, CSV, JSON, and XML, enabling agents to answer analytical and aggregation questions directly from ingested tabular data.
Yeah.
You know what I hate about this product update? There's two words in it. They are uploading, and files.
Yeah. When do we get to stop doing that? Are we there yet? Almost.
I guess you know what I haven't done. Let's whip up a knowledge vault here. I haven't looked to see what inclusion segments. The like the convergence there is Data Studio, right? Or
Yeah.
Data Hub. But go ahead.
Sorry, I do think so. If, like, it says spreadsheets a few times through this. Part of me thinks this has to do with the Google Knowledge Vault integration, where it never really read Google Sheets that well. Google Docs, it was fine with. For presentations, like if you had a knowledge vault that had a Google Drive folder in it, if there was a spreadsheet in there, it wouldn't. I always felt like it was glossing over the spreadsheet. So I'm wondering if this is like, because I agree with you. Anytime that I see I have to upload a static version of a document somewhere, I'm like, I'm never going to use this. It's
Right.
outdated the moment that I upload it, or it's forgotten about or something. But I'm wondering if this includes the ability for the just expanded ability for spreadsheets, Google Sheets in Knowledge Doc, because this, in conjunction with the new workflow tool, you can have it update its Excel file that it's being informed about on its output to like have this circular relationship of it's updating its own knowledge base file after every run.
If the data source is within HubSpot, though. Right. Like there's so much data that happens other places. I mean, that's my complaint. I mean, as a child of the utopian desktop 90s, like what I want is my extensive Notion knowledge base, page contents to be sucked into and in sync with HubSpot knowledge bases and styled and breeze and like throw in the data from a couple of other sources.
I have this giant Figma or Canva file everywhere I go that's just like brain dump, super scattered context that, like, if I could get any AI to be able to kind of begin to understand that, that would be super helpful. But every attempt that I've ever had, it's like not even close.
One more before we jump over to Will It Workflow / Will It Breeze, just because the word orders is in it, and I'm obligated to read orders related updates.
Your contract.
And there's no better way to understand like odd man out when it's just like in account settings somewhere, not related to any, doesn't have its own app right now.
Right.
What is it? You can now automate the removal of old orders using the account cleanup tool. You can set your own criteria for which orders qualify for cleanup based on time since last update or modification. At the enterprise level, because that's where the automated cleanup stuff works. I guess this is one of those slivers of orders hasn't been a full object in terms of being able to do this, and now it can. So yeah, now I'm curious if you're out there, are you using the orders object in HubSpot? And how are you going to do this and keep it in sync with the system that the orders are probably coming from?
Yeah, that's boy, I don't even want to think about all of those use cases. They're a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but this is a example of this kind of maintenance, right? I think is still a weak spot. It's mechanically, it's so similar to what we should all be doing with marketing contacts. But the infrastructure that is like, we have a lot of the tools that we need to manage like marketing contacts. This is a step in that direction for orders. It doesn't seem, just looking from the outside, it seems like, boy, they still need a lot more tooling there than like in settings. You can go in and say, clean them up after 180 days or whatever. I think that's a pretty blunt instrument. But like even on the marketing contacts, which is like super critical for keeping your budget under control, and not accidentally enrolling old contacts in marketing automations. We have a lot of tools, but it's like they're all generalized tools, and there isn't like a real powerful centralized way to manage that stuff. There's settings are kind of spread all over the place. Actioning those are kind of spread all over the place. If you really want like visibility into the status, you have to whip up a lot of custom reports on and throw them on a dashboard, typically is how I do it. But you can't even dynamically set it from your like tier, right? So if you know that you have 50,000 marketing contacts, you can't do anything in relation to that threshold, right? To say like, here's a gauge report and I want the red zone to be 10% below my threshold, right? And so on. This orders is, further behind even marketing contacts in that respect. But this is symbolic of the kind of controls, right, for the people like us who look at the systemic operational efficiency of portals for clients and companies.
Yeah, it's a good step. Hopefully it's a good step in the direction of commerce, because that's certainly one of the reasons you just haven't been able to do this as quickly as everybody else. But I think the key for most folks is like, can you get your team to agree on this phrase?
Yes.
Yep.
That's when I think of contacts and even like cleanup automation for companies down here. Can you agree on the properties that need to match or need to be deduped, or like which system has which unique ID?
Or when
is it
an invalid company? Like, well, we've got the domain and that's it, but there's something there, and I'm like, okay, but junk is junk. Like everyone has their own different opinion on, how much effort do we need to be spending on something versus enough.
Yeah, this record was created 5 years ago and nothing has changed about it since then, but they could become a customer, so we don't want to.
Yeah, I think in most cases, like a lot of the the audit trail stuff in HubSpot has gotten significantly better over
Yeah, for
last
sure.
year. And
Yeah.
like, I'd rather help teams like kind of jump in and let's figure it out because you can recover
Yeah.
like deleted orders from within 90 days. Like that's the stuff that just wasn't
Yeah.
around a couple
Yeah.
years ago. But again, in most situations, orders is integrated with
That team
the next system.
is the
right?
real devil in the details here, where it's great for companies because for the most part, your CRM is your single source of truth for that record. HubSpot is usually not your single source of truth for orders. And historically, deleting records in one system has always been rather tricky in terms of, does it delete the record in the other system? Will the other system then just resync those deleted records if you get rid of them?
If they're touched,
there's a
yeah.
lot of things here that can kind of
Yep.
the integration component here is very important.
Yes, but don't let it scare you. If you're sitting over there and you think it makes a shit ton of sense that orders that are managed by your customer-facing team should be owned by HubSpot, and you would love to make that a reality in your life, give me a call. That's
Yeah.
what I do for my clients. That's
It's-
exactly that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So what did Breeze have to say here
Yes.
about price books? And let's so all I did, and again, anybody can do this. Please start trying out Breeze Assistant.
Give it a prompt to make an HTML summary of this. I've ever since I saw Kyle's video last week about it being.
Oh, right. Oh, there's definitely a visual like.
Yeah, give me an
Oops,
HTML
happening.
visual of this.
So what I found in your portal, Pricebooks is currently in private beta. Your portal status shows pending approval. Needs Hub Professional and Enterprise, which matches my subscription level. I thought my trial ran out over the weekend. I'll have to double check that. What this update actually does gives you a way to create named pricing sets for your product catalog and then apply those pricing sets consistently in deals and quotes. And in a world where you can associate quotes with lots of other objects now, that can be very helpful if you have pricing sets that differ across teams or different parts of the customer journey. Why it matters for the portal, gives me some use cases, what to be careful about, single currency accounts only, recommended rollout approach. This is the part where most companies they just turn on the price books instead of auditing your current product library. Defining a pricing model. Create a small pilot, test quote behavior, train the sellers. How about that on one rule? These small pilots and one rule approaches, sometimes that can work. Sometimes it's hard to detach from the rest of your products. But if you want, I could next help you with one of these. Map exactly how to structure price books for your services and packages.
I guess, yeah. This is a portal with a lot of users. I was curious if its pilot suggestion was informed by that, but maybe a lot of the users in this don't have sales seats. I would just be curious if it's aware of those things.
Ooh.
Because it would be nice to I am looking forward to the day where Breeze becomes leverageable between users. Right, to say hey, Breeze, loop in the SDRs.
Yes.
On
man,
this.
I asked that last week at the Hug. When can we start sharing? When can we have a group conversation?
Yeah.
HubSpot should be in a better position than like the LLM companies. You already have teams of people. Like, please, you should be first to this. Like, I hope, but I also do not want to undersell the challenge of managing context across 1 to the n humans.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm even envisioning like multiplayer for sure, but I'm envisioning like, hey, we just implemented price books. I need everything to support the rollout to the account managers, right? And doing the like knowledge base updates, like pop a notification for on the home screen, on the home page for the account managers that's like, hey, we just rolled out price books. Here's the link to this deliverable and a walkthrough video or whatever. This is a pretty robust deliverable. I would not put that as the first thing in front of somebody when you're training them on the new system. But like if I do all of this implementation via Breeze, then what I have to do is like copy paste that into email or to Slack or into the training system, the LMS that the company uses or whatever, versus being able to push that information to the reps directly within HubSpot. So when they log in, they have that update, or when they go to apply, they go to add line items, it's a little boop, hey, price books are enabled now, here's the information, and it links to a knowledge base article or something that was created as part of my configuration and rollout with Breeze. That kind of enablement, right, was like we've got to get there so that the humans using the system have a more humane experience with these things.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There we go.
The quickness that this is happening, I have not seen Breeze do visuals this quickly. I'm guessing it relates to like, there's like a shortcuts for like, oh, set diagram. All right, we know how to do mermaid real well.
Yeah.
This is nuts. Like, and this is why I'm going to keep showing it on any HubSpot related content that I'm doing right now. Because kind of to your point, Oaks, about what to show team members and when, but also the narrative and the storytelling required. Like I guarantee price books, when people are asking for it, it's like, oh, how do we make sure sales team isn't screwing up? How do we make sure the margins are right? How do we make sure governance rules, blah, blah, blah. Internal pitch, their behavior design feature, they narrow seller choice in a productive way, which is what makes pricing more consistent, quoting faster, and downstream reporting cleaner. Like, RevOps needs to learn how to speak like this, in my opinion, right? Instead of, and this is why, like any HubSpot admin, like please start just having conversations with Breeze, asking for visuals, asking for different ways to say things, because the leader, it might come to you and say, man, we need to implement this so we can manage like margins or some kind of risk. Nobody else on the team wants to hear it. They don't care as much. It doesn't mean it's not going to get done, but you have to figure out how to use words to say things like, it's going to help you quote faster. The reports that you have to do at the end of the month, you won't have to do them anymore, like, because this will just be automatically done, right?
Yeah.
Now I just need to figure out how to get my Breeze assistant to be as cool as the one Casey did last week, because he's liking this template for some reason, and it's okay.
Every first version of anything I get from it is in this format.
Yeah. But yeah, and this is the first time I asked for a process map, right? Couldn't read it. Simple as, can you make it vertical? Right? And now, like, it's not like we just print this out and like go get approval, but this is on everybody's list that never gets done, right? This process map, creating the documentation, like, it's never been easier to create documentation. With AI's, now that you have AI's help, it doesn't mean it's off your plate, but it's getting harder and harder to say, like, we don't have time to document, our processes, or I can't prioritize it. You're literally one transcript away from just being able to document the whole, process in the most granular ways. What do you think when you're seeing this? Have you seen these kinds of maps from Breeze Canvas yet, folks?
I have not done this with Breeze Canvas. My process is, if I am from scratching, is working in usually another tool, Claude or Notion, and I often do documentation and flows first. So like my typical flow is dictate, okay, here's what we're building. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. It's going to connect to this system. It's going to pull this data, blah, 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 work the whole process. And then use that to create a mermaid diagram. Typically, I will start in Notion or in Claude, take the mermaid into Miro, apply the brand styling, tweak the things that it didn't get quite right, label the arrows correctly, do both like a process as well as an architecture diagram there, or data model, and then pull that back into a source document, which then ends up being the deliverable, whether that's like in a knowledge base or Google Doc or PDF or just paste it into Slack if that's how the client prefers it. So I have not done that with Breeze. I've been doing that for a while, since the kind of early mermaid capabilities of the LLMs. It's a super effective way to work, and I like to puzzle that stuff out first, and so that we're starting with the documentation, and then get to the last mile with implementation, tweak anything before delivering. But super
Makes
effective
sense.
way to do it,
Yep. And you can now do that. I think you can talk to Breeze Assistant on your phone through the HubSpot mobile app, if that's how you want to get started.
I don't
Again,
think the HubSpot mobile app is its own unique Breeze app, but yeah.
What's that?
It's its own Breeze app, right? It's not.
Oh, it's all together now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Okay, I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yep. But look at
What
this part at
happens?
the end, and then we got to wrap. Like, recommended framing when you present it, right? That little
Oh, that's great.
addition here,
By stakeholder type.
right? Exactly. And it's here, folks. Like, if you're an admin and you're not a huge fan of managing the people that you need to manage to create change, I get it, but they're not going to use your system unless you try it, unless you learn how to communicate. And this is a system that can help you do that now.
Yep. Next steps. I know we need to wrap, but this is on my docket of things to solve. For a while, HubSpot was trying out what did they call that beta that they then killed? That had the like walkthrough, click through guides, probably guide maker or something. That like do the build, get the mermaid diagram in those positioning by stakeholder. We're making really good progress here. The conversation that I have with Claude and with clients is like, look, the ICs who are doing this, the sellers, the execs, finance, you have all of these dynamics of like what they need, how they need to explain what their priorities are. But you also have the individuals, like communication style. It's like, the director who's like, give me a 30-second video that I can watch on 2x, right? Versus the exec who's like, I need 5 bullet points. that we need to get there. I don't have a tooling solution yet for all of this.
Tooling is the
content
human, like the
goes
human. Just
into-
ask the next question. All right.
Well,
make
what I
one
want
for
is
leadership.
like if I
right?
know what they need, I get a package out of Breeze or out of Claude, and it's like, okay, I know that I need the 5 bullet points. I need a 30-second explainer video that's based on the mermaid diagram. I need the knowledge base document, and I need a 1-page business case for finance or whatever. That kind
Yes.
of like multimodal output, you know, that's all part of one package.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a build it yourself thing right now. Looking forward to having a unified solution for that.
Indeed. And that's where we'll wrap. Hope everybody has an amazing week. Thanks, Rylee. Thanks, Oaks. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.